Support for studio sessions on KNKX comes from OB Credit Union, the original credit union of the Olympia Brewery, bringing pub-style banking to South Sound neighborhoods. OB Credit Union, offering Rainier, Pabst, Lone Star, and Olympia beer credit cards. More at obee.com/cards. Greetings from the KNKX Studio X. I'm Abe Beeson with an exclusive session performance today from the Delvon Lamarr Organ Trio. The self-taught organist started his trio here in the Northwest around 8 years ago. And 5 incredibly successful albums later, Delvon Lamarr has toured the world and currently calls Indiana home. The current lineup of the DLO 3 includes Josh Perdue and Ehsaan Karimi at the guitar and drums, a subtle evolution from the original lineup. We talked about the addition of Perdue and Karimi, the move to the Midwest, and what the future holds for the DLO 3. But before that conversation, it's time to groove with the Delvon Lamarr Organ Trio. This one's called Chicken Leg. Delvon Lamarr Organ Trio here in the brand new Studio X at KNKX. So great to have you back in town. Delvon, tell me what's new. I mean, last time we heard you were traveling all over the world, and now you've got a new home based in Indiana?
Portage, Indiana, yeah.
How about that?
That was a weird one.
What got you there?
Amy Novo.
Oh, the wonderful Amy Novo.
Funny story about that.
Yeah.
I was actually on tour in Europe for a month, and she has a client that she represents based in Maryville, Indiana, and their name is Connell Klein. Mm-hmm. And so she went over there for 3 weeks while I was in Europe, and they talked to her about moving to Indiana. So I get a phone call in Europe. She was like, I think we're moving to Indiana. So I was like, okay. And so I came home from tour, just packed stuff and left, and I live in Indiana now.
Well, for someone who tours as much as you do, it's probably best to be centrally located or a little bit more. So it's a good place to be. Since we last saw you, it's a brand new lineup, and I want to run around the room and get a little bit of background from these cats. Josh Perdue on the guitar, outstanding. Tell us a little bit about your musical background and how you joined the band.
Well, I grew up in Arlington, Texas, moved to Austin, Texas, and been there ever since. I met Delvon through a mutual friend. He came out to one of our gigs that we were playing, got upset in, and the chemistry was amazing. Yeah, we just we kind of see eye to eye, like musically, I guess. So.
Well, I see you doing the soul two-step like I do. Do you have a history playing soul music? What is your musical background?
My musical background, my dad had a 12-piece rhythm and blues Motown show band, so I grew up in that school, I guess. It was a university of some sorts.
It's great to have you here, Josh. And Ehsaan Karimi, Ace behind the drum kit. I've seen you in a lot of different outfits around town, not just your clothing, but different bands, different lineups. And I know that you're a versatile player. The Delvon Lamarr Organ Trio is a very specific kind of music. And I wonder if you could talk about the challenges of playing in the pocket with D-Lo 3.
Man, well, it's always a challenge to be restrained and, be just consistent and stay in that pocket and not let it waver. As drummers, we want to hit everything and, do all this stuff. But, I do love just playing, trying to be simple and just laying in the groove with these guys. But, when I get my moment for the drum solo, Delvon lets me out of the cage and I can kind of do whatever I want, but yeah.
Well, Delvon, I know you travel a lot around town and around the world doing one-offs. You hit a city, you play one date, and then you're gone. Must be nice to settle into Seattle for a few days. You're going to be at Jazz Alley tonight, two sets tomorrow, and then another Sunday. Is this unusual for you to be able to settle in for a few nights?
Yes. We hardly ever sit still. But it is nice. It's nice to be at home. It's nice to be playing at home and see familiar faces and all that stuff. So, yeah, man, I love it.
And I'm always a fan of seeing the band and intrigued by new members of the band. But I'm always wondering if you ever considered throwing a horn player in for a little fun, a little mix-up, maybe even a singer on a song.
Plays trombone.
Well,
and drums.
Well, that's arguable. I have a trombone and I make sound that comes out of it. So, yeah, actually, I am currently working on a project of just basically D-Lo 3 with special guest, and apparently I'll be doing some singing. So I'm not a bad singer.
No, you're a great singer.
I'm all right.
You're all right. Now, as far as recordings go, I know there was in the same year, Cold as Weiss came out, then Live in Loveland, so you get a studio record and a live album. What's next? It's been almost a couple of years.
We're actually getting ready to release. We're just dealing with, all the legal stuff on that end, but we should be having another album coming out probably early next year, at this point, probably later next year. But, so keep an eye out for that. We do have stuff in the works, and I'm going to get these cats here in the studio. I got a ton of material in my head that needs to get out of there.
Did we hear a new song today?
You did.
Tell us about that one.
So that tune, I wrote that one back in maybe January. That one was entitled Get Your Mind Together.
It's a pretty good song. I've always enjoyed the Delvon Lamarr organ trio songs that are named for the players or albums like Coldest Weiss or Jimmy's Jam or Jimmy's Groove, I think was another one. Any song title plans for these two, like Josh is Posh or Ace is High?
I'm working on a tune called Dumb and Dumber. No, I'm playing. I'm just playing. No, well, we give everybody names and song titles, so we'll see how that comes.
Okay, final question. For those of our audience here and those listening at home, there was some behind-the-scenes action before we got the show started, which with Hammond organ players comes up every once in a while. We thought we were going to hear from the Leslie cabinet, and then what went wrong?
Oh, that thing. Like I always say, man, you show up with a Hammond, you don't know what you're going to get. It just didn't work. Like, we showed up, loaded in, turned it on, nothing.
And then Delvon made a run to Jazz Alley to see if he could find a replacement part from the Leslie there, and...
Yeah, so, nope, that didn't work neither. So, so I'm just going to say it just doesn't work at this point. So, but it happens, like you play a 67-year-old instrument, you get 67-year-old problems. So,
Yeah, what did we end up with?
I just randomly had my keyboard amp in my van. So, yeah, the good old Carvin held up. And, do the best you can with what you got.
That's jazz, man. You got to improvise. Thank you, Delvon Lamarr, so much for being here. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much to the Delvon Lamarr Organ Trio with Josh Perdue and Ehsaan Karimi at the guitar and drums. Connect to a pair of previous D-Lo 3 sessions and many, many more amazing performances at KNKX.org. You'll find even more on our YouTube channel. Thanks to the KNKX team, Studio X audio engineer Brian Moynihan and video producer Parker Blome, and thanks to promotions director Brenda Goldstein-Young. I'm Abe Beeson. Thanks to you for listening and for your support.